What is going on, tribe, and welcome back to another video with me, your bald-headed boy scribe. That's right, how the devil are you doing? I hope you're doing well. So with CG surprising us rather kindly with some amazing tier 1 and tier 2 rewards with the Mall hate-fueled event, a lot of people in my comment section and in my Discord, do join, link down below, are asking me about how do you go about unlocking the legendary event in an era free to play without spending any money whatsoever. So I thought I would give a very quick guide on how to get this done, how I approached it on my free to play alt account, which is only a year old, managed to get the 4-star unlock, and I'm hoping next time to get the 5-star unlock. So I thought I would share my approach with you. I'm not saying this is the best approach, just the way that I do it myself. Let's break it down. So first and foremost, a quick reminder as to why this is valuable to do. When we had the release of the Mall hate-fueled event, Web of Hate, it came with a couple of surprises. Notably, Tier 1 and Tier 2 had some absolutely amazing rewards. They both had 2 7-star Relic 6 Lightspeed tokens, or at least on Tier 1 it's 2. On Tier 2 it has 3 7-star Relic 6 Lightspeed tokens. That's a total of basically a full team, no Zetas included, but going straight to 7-star Relic 6 for unlocking this guy at 5 stars. And 5 stars is doable as a free-to-play player, and 4 stars is very achievable for pretty much everybody, okay? Not only that, you do get a bunch of ever-leveling materials, and you get to use the legendary unit in the Colosseum, which does do significant benefits to your account. As I'm showing you right now, I'll go into my Colosseum on my main account, and if I go into the leaderboards, I'm currently 3rd on the leaderboard. Okay, now I have wailed to get the characters up to 7-star, but I haven't spent currency on the error leveling currency or anything like that throughout any of this until I unlocked Maul, and I took 1 unit to 85. Because I'm going for the full unlock of Maul hate-fueled, I need to spend on some of the whale packs to get them to error level 85. I'm not doing this because it's a good idea, I'm doing it because I want to be able to show the event to people at home so that I can make videos and content on it, okay? Cool, so now that we've got that encapsulated, we understand why it's so important and so valuable for people to go ahead and try and at least get that 4-star unlock for 2 free Relic 6 characters of your choice, provided, you know, they're not like brand new marquees or anything like that, as well as all of the boatloads of error leveling currency in the Colosseum performance. We know it's now very important, very valuable to get these legendary unlocks. Firstly, I want to say we do not know at this point if the next era will contain a journey guide unit. If they don't contain a journey guide unit, I think the value of going 4-star, 5-star, yada 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 drops off dramatically unless CG replaces that, you know, reward with something entirely different. However, I want to prep just in case this next era does have a journey guide event. So let's go ahead and take a look at the graphics that I'm going to help provide you with over here. Now, I'm going to hide my camera just so that I don't get in the way of the important stuff that we're about to show you. So, Barris, I'm using her as just a for instance because she was the latest marquee. If we are looking for a 4-star unlock of a brand new marquee, there are a couple of things that we need to consider. First and foremost, let's think about the marquee event. If you want to do this, you want to be playing the marquee event every single day, okay? And you have to go in on day 1. When you do tier 1 of the marquee event, you will get enough shards, essentially, to take that unit up to 3-star, but you will also get a bonus of 5 shards just for doing that tier. On tier 2, you will once again gain a bonus of 10 additional shards for just doing that tier. You don't require to spend any money to get this done. It is very, very easy. That essentially puts you 15 shards away from getting a 4-star unlock. Now, please take in mind, this is for a complete free-to-play character, not buying the episode pass or anything. If you purchase the episode pass, you will immediately go to 4-star. It gives you 20 shards of each new marquee within that particular era. It is very, very valuable, okay? But I'm doing this from the perspective of a complete free-to-play player, all right? So if you just do the marquee, you need 15 more shards in order to go to 4-star. In order to get that done, you will have to put aside crystals to purchase the crystal packs, okay? Now, if you want to go in at the cheapest entry point possible, you can buy one of these crystal packs, and they have got a chance of dropping between 5 to 330 shards of any given characters. So you could actually just purchase one and suddenly have a 7-star unlock. However, the likelihood is incredibly slim. So I'm looking at this from a minimum to a maximum amount of pulls that you will need to do in order to get that 4-star unlock. You're most likely going to get 7 shards every single time that you pull one of these packs, and they cost 1,299 crystals. However, you can sometimes get 5. Sometimes you get more. You can get 10, 12, 15, 30, 45. You can get loads of them, okay? However, I'm going to operate on what is most likely going to happen. It's most likely that you are going to get 7 shards, all right? However, if we look at it, if you get 5 shards every time you pull it, you'll have to buy the pack 3 times, because that's 15 shards, which gets us that 15 shards we're remaining, for a total of 3,897 crystals. You're most likely going to have to buy 3 of these. Sometimes you can get away with 1 or 2, all right? So with that in mind, you want to try and make sure for every 2-week period, you put aside 280 crystals per day. I recommend you go out there, calculate how many crystals you get as an income, calculate how much you spend on refreshes, and curtail your spending of your crystals accordingly. If you do 3 refreshes of Cantina energy, 3 refreshes of regular energy, 3 refreshes of mod energy, and 3 refreshes of fleet energy, for example, you just want to try and cut down on those energy refreshes just so that you can afford that pack 3 times every 2 weeks. All right, that will give you enough to go to 4-star. And after that, you will actually get 5 additional shards per day, as well as some nominal amounts of additional materials every single day from the marquee event. So that's kind of the cheapest barrier to entry. Between 1,300 and 3,900 crystals will get you that 4-star unlock per character on the era. Okay, so every 2 weeks, try to save 280 crystals a day. So that's all very well and good. But what if you wanted to go for the 5-star unlock to get the full schwammy, the whole bag, as it were? This is not obviously for the 7-star unlock. That becomes prohibitively more expensive to do. And if people want to see the breakdown of that, I can do that for you. So when we're looking at that 5-star unlock, we have to think of things slightly differently, because we are now going to take into account the additional shards that we're going to be earning from doing tier 3 of the event, from getting to 4-star, and how that impacts the long-term trajectory, essentially, of what we are trying to accomplish. So, 5-star marquee event. When you go for this, you will still get that tier 1 and that tier 2 unlock. Tier 3, when you do it for the first time, will give you 5 shards for the day, and then a bonus 5 shards for a total of 10. Then you will get 5 shards every single day that you run the event for a week. So that'll give you an extra 30. That means outside of any crystal packs that we've purchased, we need an additional 40 shards in total to make sure that we can hit 5 stars. How do we go about doing that? Well, we need to do the same thing as before, but elevate it a little bit. We need to be within 30 shards of 5-star at day 1, and then you need to be able to play the event every day of the marquee. You can't skip a day of the marquee, you have to go in, otherwise you are going to be short by 5 stars. Now, if you want to go for just an efficiency pull, you can pull that 5 card pull. It costs 5,999 crystals. It gives you 5 subsequent pulls at a slightly discounted value compared to buying 5 instances of the 1,299 pack. All right, it saves you just a couple of hundred crystals. You are most likely going to have to supplement that with 3 additional single pulls. Now, it's up to you how you do this. You might want to do 3 single pulls, and if you don't get a big pull in the middle, then pull the 5-pack, or you might just want to do the 5-pack first and foremost and hope for a big drop in there. On average, you should be pulling 7 shards every time you do a pull, but you might get lucky, get a 10 or a 15 or whatever, or you might get very, very unlucky and get a lot of 5s, okay? If you do get 5 pulls of 5, that's only 25 shards, so you'll need an additional 3 pulls of the single pack at a maximum to get yourself up to where you need to be, essentially, that 40 shards that we need. The thing to take into account is just make sure on day 1 of the marquee, you are within 30 shards of 5-star. That would be 35 out of 65 shards required. That way, by the end of the marquee, you'll hit that 5-star, you'll be able to do tier 4 of the marquee event, you'll get yourself some additional free shards there as well as some nominal materials, but that should tide you over and make sure that you will be able to get that done. This is more expensive, obviously. You need to save a minimum of 430 crystals per day just to afford the 5-card pull, and you're most likely going to want more than that. Obviously, a lot harder for a free-to-play. This is why when we give people advice on how to go ahead and progress and develop their rosters, we always recommend people get to the top of Fleet Arena, because that 400 crystals a day that you can get from first in Fleet Arena really helps sort of accelerate your economy and lets you do things like this. The rest of it is going to be dependent on your Grand Arena rankings, your Grand Arena performances, your performance in things like Rise of the Empire TB and Territory Wars, and any events that come around that happen to give you some crystals. So obviously it's not the easiest thing in the world, but definitely something that is doable and within reach of people's capabilities if they just prepare for it. Just make sure you're squirreling away as many crystals as you can every single day to make that happen. Now, I will give a very brief mention to the fact that if you are trying to push further, you can go ahead and grab yourself the big pack. This surge pack, you can only purchase one of these per marquee, and essentially it gives you 12 pulls for the price of 10. It's a nice way of getting it done if you're really trying to push further and get a 6-star unlock day 1 to get a 7-star unlock by the end of the event. This is like the most cost-efficient way of doing it. You get 2 free pulls, and then you might have to supplement with a couple of additional packs. Obviously, again, if you are purchasing that episode pass, that gives you an additional 20 shards. That makes it a lot easier to get these things done. But apart from that, that's how I go about doing it. If you want to have access to those infographics, they are in my Discord. There is a link to my Discord in the description down below. Hopefully this is useful to you guys. Let me know if this sort of stuff is useful to you. I'll try and keep pushing it out. I'll try and do it correct to the best of my abilities, but I'm not the smartest sausage in the crayon box. Something like that. All right, guys. Give the video a quick like, a comment down below if you unlocked your mall at 4 or 5 stars, and if you are prepared to do it for the next era. I'd love to hear it. I'll see you all in the very next video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.